Hi everyone, we are done in Austin. We are getting ready to head out. It's a little later in the day than we wanted because it's around 5 o'clock and we have a long way to go. And the trip computer says we're going to arrive back in Iowa, frankly, much later than I want to look at, but it will be sometime tomorrow. So we're just gonna hit the road and we've got a long journey ahead. You can see here on the screen kind of our journey at the moment. So it's likely to change. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way there. It just kind of depends on how both of us are feeling, but we're going to get as far as we can and check in from the road. Right, we are headed back. Our first stop, Gerald, Texas. Since our last charge, which was pretty much what we were doing today, it was 96 miles, 341 watt hours per mile. So not too bad, but we are getting plugged in and probably gonna get some dinner here because it's about 6:15. There's a Subway, there's a Domino's, really not much else going on, but I guess you do what you can. So this is going to be a long trip, and we'll just see how far we can get. We may get all the way, we may not. Just play it by ear. We started out this route. It had us actually plan on going up through Kansas, but I noticed that there were a couple of red flags. One was that there was a really long charge of 55 minutes, and that should be a red flag for anybody because the Tesla tends to compensate or tends to do fewer stops and longer stops. All right, we got some alarms. So playing around with the stops, forcing it to a couple places, we were able to shave almost 2 hours off of the drive. And on a trip of this length, 2 hours is a lot. So we'll take it for now. We'll see if it sticks, but check it later. At Red Oak, Texas. Sorry for the loud noise, but the highway is literally right there. Welcome to Texas. That's what happens here. But got here uneventful. It's a little clutch going through Dallas. Man, these people in Texas really like to drive fast, but FSD actually does a really good job dealing with the traffic and the weird twists and turns of the Dallas freeway system. So let's get inside and check out our stats for that last leg. My last leg, 136 miles, 41 kilowatt hours consumed, 301 watt hours per mile. It's actually some of the best that we've had for this entire trip. And so far on this round trip, we're over 1,500 miles, 360 average. Now what's interesting is we rolled in here with about 19%, but when we left the last supercharger, it says we were gonna get here with 6, but it didn't take very long for that to creep up to 20, which is where we ended up basically. And I'm not exactly sure why it thought we were gonna get here with 6 and why it was off so much, but it is something that we see with this current version of the software where when you're sitting at the supercharger, it says you're gonna have less getting there and you maybe overcharge some, which is unfortunate, but then your destination pops up. I guess it's just one of those things you got to live with in a Tesla right now. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be solved in about 2 weeks. For now, we're going to be charging for about 14 minutes and then we'll get back on the road. All right, we spent enough time here in Red Oak, Texas. Next stop is Dennison. It's showing a 50-minute charge, unfortunately, and I just said that's the one thing you need to do if you don't want to spend too much time on the road, but unfortunately, it is a bit of a dead zone between Dennison and Tulsa, and we got to pretty much charge up to nearly 100% again, and probably because we did that on the way down, to make it up to Tulsa. But once we get up to Tulsa, everything should be fine. It's just one of those things. So we are hitting the road. Be there in about an hour and 25 minutes. Check in there. Welcome to Dennison. The evening begins. It's after 10 o'clock. This is our long stop. But before we get to that, let's get inside and check out the details for that last leg. That last leg was only 96 miles, 333 watt-hours per mile. We rolled in here with 21%, but I want to point out this right here. Right there, assuming it pops up. We are going to need to be here for a while. It is saying 50 minutes. That's bad, but we need to be at almost a complete charge in order to get us to our next destination with the Tulsa, because we have 184 miles and it's cold, relatively cold, 42 degrees, to get down here in Dennison all the way up here to Tulsa. And it's going to be a while. It's about a 3-hour trip, 184 miles, and will require a full charge. We're gonna be hanging out here for a little bit, use the restroom, get a snack, do what we need to do, and we'll hit the road. Well, after a bit of a long wait, we are about ready to hit the road. Tried to catch a quick nap. Wasn't very successful on my side in the car, but do what you can. Almost all charged up to basically 100%, and then we're going to be down on the road. Well, our long wait is about over, and what do you do when there's no charging stops between here and a long ways away? You basically have to charge up to 100%, and that's really odd and strange for me at a supercharger. We're actually sitting here at 99% with 3 minutes to go, and it's only charging at a DC fast charger at a rapid breakneck speed of 7 kilohertz.
Kilowatts.
Yes, it is dark and it is late. And thank you, Brian. 7 kilowatts. It is charging at a breakneck speed of 7 kilowatts. Now 6. Wow. Says we're going to arrive with about 6%. May say 7 by the time we unplug. It's not really a full interstate. We're going to be going through a lot of towns. Hopefully being late, we won't have to see the same type of traffic we saw on the way down. So still going to be about 3 hours and 15 minutes. I think this is going to be the longest leg of this entire trip. But see you on the other side. It's 2:30 in the morning. We rolled into Tulsa, Oklahoma. Its longest stretch was 3 hours, and we had a bit of a clutch situation. About halfway in, car asked us to turn around. Why did it do that? Because for some reason it thought we couldn't make it. It told us to turn around and go back to Dennison so we can charge somewhere, which made no sense. So we overrode the trip computer and said, we're going to Tulsa anyway, we're going to be just fine. And guess what? We were just fine. Got here at about 6%, so let's get inside and check out those stats. We're going to be here for about 20 minutes before we can continue on our way and hopefully push through the night. So let's see what we got. This leg, 185 miles, 325 watt-hours per mile, arrived with 6%. We had a little bit of a clutch situation there for a little while, but everything worked out okay in the end. Very late, 2:30 in the morning. So what do you do at 2:30 in the morning when you're a supercharger and nothing is open? Well, you go to a Whataburger because, you know, Whataburgers are still open. And when you're at Whataburger, you might as well get one. Never had one. Try it out. Everybody that said, come on down here, go to a Whataburger, well, follow your advice, despite what you may think sometimes. All right, we're about done charging. I think the next stop is Joplin, if I remember right. Let's get back to the car because it's getting cold up here. All right, just like that, we land in Joplin, Missouri, just crossed the border. There was no road footage this last run because I did the best I could to sleep as much as possible. We're rolling in here at 4:38 in the morning, 7% plugged in. Let's check out the stats. We have 115 miles, 388 watt-hours per mile. It's creeping back up because it's getting cold, 40 degrees outside. We're going to be here for a short 12 minutes and then we'll be on the road. What do you think, Brian? Is everything you ever hoped for?
Fantastic.
I
was doing well when we were in the car, and then when I stopped, I was like, oh man, I am tired.
Yeah, well, it's your turn to get some sleep. And it is my turn to drive. So, short stop here in Joplin, Missouri, come and go. And to be honest with you, I don't even know what our next stop is because I slept that last leg, but we'll check in and when we get there. All right, I think the car is telling us we are ready to go. We have a arrival at Nevada, Missouri with 12%, and we're currently at 52, so that's good enough for me right now. So I'm driving. Brian's gonna see if he can get some sleep, so let's get unplugged and get on the road. Back at Nevada, Missouri, at a Casey's, and bright and early in the morning here. Sun still hasn't come up, but that's what you got to do. Cross 2,000 miles on our total road trip on that last leg. So let's get inside and see what the numbers shake out to look like. All right, that last leg, 69 miles, 374 watt-hours per mile, which is pretty close. So also on that last leg, we crossed 2,000 miles on this total trip. So far 2,028 miles, 357 watt-hours per mile. So I expect our numbers to continue to go up as things continue to get cold. So we're gonna get plugged in and see what we got going. landed in Belton, Missouri, rolling in like a boss in the fog. Thanks for Brian for taking that leg. I slept. 74 miles, 404 watt-hours per mile. Winter has returned. As you can see, the fog is pretty bad here. So Belton, Missouri, I think. This time we actually parked on the right side of the superchargers that are having straight lines. Wasn't obvious, but we thought, hey, that's cute. Angled pull-ups, it worked. But in reality, we're supposed to be on this side. We got about 20-25 minutes here before we make our way further north. Again, it is cold. I don't like it. Texas weather was better, at least this time of year. So we're gonna charge it up and then we'll get back on the road. Just like that, it is time to unplug. Plug in, unplug, rinse, and repeat. That's the nature of a Tesla road trip. Nice and boring and reliable, just like you want it. We're just now south of Kansas City. Hopefully next stop will be somewhere closer to Iowa. Getting there. Bethany, Missouri, our non-stop trip from Austin up to Iowa, dropping me off and then going up to Minneapolis. This is, it's hard to believe that we just got done with our day yesterday and it's around dinner time and we said, all right, time to head home. And we just left and we haven't stopped. It's been a little surreal. So we're gonna be here for about 25 minutes and then we'll be on our way. Next stop will be Des Moines and then after that, my house. Well, that last leg, 110 miles, fortunately the fog burned off pretty quickly. 352, not terrible. It is continuing to get colder. All right, just left Bethany, Missouri supercharger. This has been a long one. We have 2,212 miles for the trip. At least that's for Brian. Cut about 200 miles off of that for me.
So you just passed 200 or 2,000.
I did. I just personally passed 2,000 miles on this road trip. We have basically one more stop for me. It'll be in Des Moines, and then after that it'll be at my house, and then it's likely Brian's going to have to do a few more stops, a couple more stops after that to make his way back up to Minneapolis. All right, we'll check in when we get to Des Moines. Into the Des Moines supercharger, which I thought was going to be my last stop, but we did play around with the stops. There's going to be another long stop here. We just talked about that. So we are going to stay on I-80 and stop at one more between here and my hometown, and we actually get home faster by stopping more often. How about that? So we're getting ready to pull into the supercharger and we're going to get plugged in. We're going to be here for probably about 10-15 minutes at the most, and then we will be on our way. I should also say that this leg was 108 miles, 363 watt-hours per mile, which seems to be kind of where we're settling in. It's better than on the way down, but it is 37 degrees, so it is slightly warmer than it was when we left, which was closer to like 20.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much wind either.
Yeah, wind is also a big factor as well. So, gonna get plugged in as soon as we get parked. All right, that last leg, only 48 miles real quick, 385 watt-hours per mile. It is still cold and we are still high. Got here with 18%, gonna get plugged in. All right, we are at the Cedar Rapids Supercharger, my hometown. Just makes sense to charge here first before Brian drops me off at my place. 39 degrees, 76 miles, 366 watt-hours per mile. For me, it is about 2,244 miles, but for Brian, it's 2,444 miles so far, 360 watt-hours per mile. So we need to charge here for just a little bit, so let's go ahead and get plugged in. Well, I made it home. This guy has about another 250 miles to go. I feel sorry for the man, but I'm home, I'm here. What an epic trip. I can't wait to get into all the footage and get it out and get the road trip video out. This is the first time I've ever done a straight through like this. For him, it's gonna be about 2,600 miles. Yeah. Round trip, maybe
and
more.
Back and forth in so few days.
Yeah, a lot of miles in a lot of short time. We learned some things along the way, learned a lot of things about the Cybertruck. But right now, I think I need some sleep, and you're gonna need some sleep too. We're gonna digest it. So thanks for coming along for the ride. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, appreciate that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and please check out Brian Ruby's channel. Brian Ruby Drives Electric, also a great channel. Like and subscribe there too. Till the next video, we'll catch you later.
Thanks, Jim.